Ground control's a Major Tom.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Boyd.
His is the worst voice you will ever hear.
Will he offer me his teeth?
The Tommy Boyds Show will teach you nothing. Nothing.
Always read the label.
Nothing but iniquity and wickedness.
If you really bug me, then I'll say goodbye.
The rural community has its backs against a dry stone wall. They're up against it every way they turn. Farms are being sold because they're simply no longer viable. And people who live in far-flung parts of Britain are under siege. They know they are under siege because their post offices are closing, their buses are disappearing, their schools are emptying, and no one cares. So they get their annual exercise by marching through London and assuming that since it did some good for the Toll Puddle martyrs and the Jarrow lot and the CND people in times gone by, somehow somebody will spread some oofle dust over rural Britain and return it to what it was in the glorious days of Enid Blyton. We know that's not going to happen. The new thing is this. We know that the rural communities of Britain, the yokels, the bumpkins, let's use common parlance on this one, are under threat from humanity and from the economics of the day. But information came flooding in since our last broadcast on this subject, and I felt it was sufficiently impressive and important enough to put it before you for your consideration, which suggests that not only is humanity railing against rural Britain, so is Mother Nature. Free call 0500 10 53 89. As if they haven't got enough to put up with all the spraying and all the concrete that's taking over rural Britain. It turns out that now there are not only killer wasps which have made their way across from the continent, wasps which are nearly 3 times as big as British wasps, wasps which pack 3 times the poison of British wasps, and, this is the worst bit, wasps which live not in gigantic communities which are easy to locate, but live in small communities of several hundred wasps who make their nests in little hedgerows, in clumps of undergrowth, exactly where country people go swishing with their sticks and their dogs and their scythes. If that's not enough, killer wasps, there's also the fact that now the authorities have proof that there is not only a beast of Bodmin Moor, there are many, many beasts on many, many moors, and they've all got sharp teeth and claws. It is now confirmed, a beast on Bodmin Moor. It is a puma. It is several pumas. It is packs, it is hordes of pumas, jaguars, and lynxes. This is not to mention the possibility that there are some lions roaming on the Yorkshire Dales. There is a bear in the Forest of Dean. There is a colony of orangutans in a place called Cobner. And there is also a 12-foot anaconda on the loose in Hales Owen. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Is Mother Nature out to do the job before humanity and eliminate British yokels? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Perhaps the most alarming piece of information emerged on the sports pages of all places in one of our national daily newspapers. A senior racing figure, David Nicholson, wrote a letter warning that the countryside is in danger of being overtaken by a poisonous plant called ragwort. A plant which will poison you if you go near it, a plant which will poison you if it finds its way into the food chain, which it all too easily will, because it grows next to crops which are bound to be harvested. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Killer wasps have arrived in Britain. The beasts of Bodmin and elsewhere exist. It's confirmed. Ragwort is on the increase, and this is something that I've always found difficult to take on board, but I read it again and again. Did you know that the spores from bracken, that's ferns, the spores from bracken can cause cancer? It's terrifying. Who'd live in the country? Soon, of course, nobody will. Nobody will be able to survive. And it's not humanity that's going to do them in. It's Mother Nature herself. Chew that one over. My number is free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There is a good argument for listening.
Talk Radio.
I have seen the future of radio.
The Tommy Boyd Show.
Ho, ho, ho.
The solution is surely to encourage the vibrant Asian community of Britain out into rural Britain. They'd know how to run our farms and our villages, and they, or at least their relatives, come from a part of the world where they're used to dealing with poisonous snakes and killer beasts. Free call 0500 1053 89. Nikki's on the line from Telford. You're on Talk Radio, Nikki. Good afternoon. Nikki, hi.
Hello?
Hello, Nikki.
Yes, I'm ringing to say that I've spent hours and hours digging up ragwort out of a paddock I've just put my pony in, only to drive around everywhere, motorways, main roads and country lanes, to see ragwort growing everywhere.
What is this stuff? I'd never heard of it before last Thursday.
It's a poisonous weed. It's yellow, and people probably think it's a very pretty flower growing on the verges, but it's poison.
Is it poison if you eat it, or just if you go near it?
It's, as far as I know, it's just poisonous for the livestock. I assume it is for people as well. But if they eat it, it attacks their liver and all the internal organs.
It causes a horrible slow death.
Yes, it does. I had a leaflet off the ILPH, which is the International League of Protection of Horses, about ragwort, and it's horrifying what happens to horses and cattle.
Now, would yokels know this?
Yokels probably would, yes.
So...
But town people wouldn't. They'd probably think that it was a very pretty flower growing on the verges.
And they might end up decorating their salads with it.
Oh, I hope not, for their sake.
No, people do.
Yes, well, I've heard of somebody using deadly nightshade in a apple and berry pie.
You're joking.
I'm trying to poison her husband without knowing.
But did they know that it was called deadly nightshade?
No, she thought it was a very pretty red berry growing in her garden, and she thought it would taste nice.
You see what we're up against. You see why we have to do shows like this.
Yes, I do. Yes, it's very dangerous. There's an awful lot of poisons that people don't know anything about.
What about the story that bracken can cause, you know what?
Bracken?
Ferns.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
The spores of bracken may be carcinogenic.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That's not good news.
Why, none of us are going to leave the town, are we? We're going to panic if there's no concrete in sight.
Well, the town people should stay in the town.
But how can there have been bracken for so long? And indeed ragwort for so many millions of years?
Well, the ragwort always used to be being sprayed, but for some reason it's been allowed to grow now by all the people that used to spray it seem to be leaving it on the verges.
Now, my wife said this morning to me over breakfast that she thought that a rash that our youngest picked up a couple of summers ago was because there had been some ragwort at the bottom of the garden.
Well, that may be, but I've been pulling ragwort out with my hands and I haven't come down with a rash.
Be careful.
I do wash my hands with baby wipes afterwards before I touch my daughter.
And then you burn it?
And then I burn it, yes. It's going straight into a pit and it burns because one plant of ragwort can be at least 20 years' worth of seed.
Nikki, you've been on the radio for 2 minutes, 37 seconds, but you've saved lives.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Listen to you all the time.
Should hope so. Ken calls now from Halifax. Ken, you are on Talk Radio after Premi in Watford. Premi, hello.
Hello. Hi, Tommy.
Premi.
Yes.
Premi.
Am I through?
Yes.
Am I live?
Yes.
Well, calm down, mate. Calm down. You're getting all excited about nothing. What are you worried about?
I'm not. Not worried about anything.
There's always been dangerous things, and in our country we're pampered. We've got nothing to worry about. There's a couple of maybe adders or poisonous snakes that nobody ever seen. Suddenly the stories about big cats coming up in the world. That's brilliant. That's great news. Good, we're getting some wildlife back. There's a bear in the woods. Brilliant. And everybody's getting scared. What's the matter with you? In every other country in the world there's dangerous things.
You're not concentrating. The issue here is whether Mother Nature is taking it into her own hands to eliminate a section of society.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
A section of society, as in the rural people.
Yeah, it shows a bit more intelligent than you thought, you see.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then I'll take issue with that subject.
We don't do alarmism. I don't do alarmism.
Okay. Well, so that the rural people of Great Britain are being threatened by Mother Nature who's taking her revenge.
Simple alarmism you can get anywhere in broadcasting. Everybody will alarm you.
Right. Okay, well...
It's the whole point of being a journalist, to frighten people.
Very good, but the thing is, we don't have exactly a cut-off rural community. People are mixing a lot between the town and the country now,
No, not
aren't
true.
they?
You haven't been out very often. You live in Watford?
I do,
Well,
yeah.
I rest my case.
No, I've lived in a rural community. I've only just moved to Watford.
Yeah, but you get
I've lived in rural
yokels.
communities, and you could just got this picture. I've just got this picture of a couple of rural people, as you call them, going for a nice stroll in the country, chuffing on a fag or a pipe, thinking, "Oh my God, that ragwort's a bit dangerous. That's going to give us cancer, isn't it? Chuff, chuff." We're all going to get cancer from something or other. Road fumes, whether you live in the country or not.
Try and focus, Premi.
Yeah.
Try and focus. Mother Nature, every 100 years or so, has a bit of a clear out.
Yes.
That's why we used to have pestilence and disease.
Well, maybe Mother Nature's sort of trying to redress the balance of us sort of wiping out
This is what I'm
species.
saying.
Yeah.
Oh, well done. You caught up. It didn't take you long, did it?
Well, there's another thing as well, because you made a comment as to the Asian population getting bigger. Now, what's that about? Is that an intelligent addition to the argument?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so what the Asians got to do with it?
Well, they've been denied access to rural affairs.
Yeah, what's that got to do with the rural... You said maybe there's a good thing in it, maybe that the Asian people...
Yes. Maybe they should be encouraged to move away from urban areas where they...
So you're saying that they should be threatened, so we can... What are you saying exactly?
I say maybe they could manage rural Britain better than the British.
Why is that?
Well, because they've managed urban Britain better than the British.
Right.
Yeah. Okay?
Right, so that they can put up with the threats.
Well, they just handle things better. They know what to do with the ragwort and the bracken and the killer wasps and the beasts of Bodmin Moor and the anaconda in, where is it? Hales Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? What would they do?
I don't know. Well, not until they got there.
Because they have them in their own country, you mean?
Well, is that?
Yeah.
I mean, they handled rural India rather well, didn't they?
But then again, the rural community isn't being threatened any more than the town community is.
Yes, it is.
Urban community, is it?
Yes, it appears to be. Because you haven't got a beast in Birmingham.
You haven't, but you've got pollution in Birmingham, you've got roads in Birmingham, you've got road traffic accidents in Birmingham, you've got violence in Birmingham, you've got just as many threats. You've got
violence in Birmingham? Have you seen a combine harvester? Have you ever seen a combine harvester? Do you know what the hell that can do?
Yeah, they're vicious buggers, aren't they?
Do you know what kind of a death that would be?
Well,
and you say Birmingham.
Like a few hyenas, wouldn't they?
You haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I've seen a combine harvester. Yeah,
right, you want to talk about pollution? Okay, all right. Okay, here I have, a file of car fumes.
Yeah.
All right, and in my other hand, in my right hand, I have a file containing car fumes, all right?
Yeah.
In my left hand, I have a file containing essence of organophosphate.
Yeah.
Now, which would you rather inhale?
But are you getting on a different subject there? Because the organophosphate is putting down by people. That's kind of an urban threat to the rural community. That's not Mother Nature threatening, is it? You're getting away from your own argument there. That's not Mother Nature.
It's pollution. No, in this context, you were talking about the dangers of living in the town versus the dangers of living in the countryside. And organophosphate poisoning is a lot quicker and a lot more clinical and a lot more effective than dying slowly by Renault 5 poisoning.
Well, it may be so, but your argument is that Mother Nature is getting her own back.
Yeah, if you want to go back to that argument, I'm wondering whether that's the case. Because nature is a wonderful thing. Did you know that after the First World War, when an awful lot of young men perished, the birth rate showed a distinct bias towards the number of boys who were born and the number of girls who were born.
Yeah.
Now, explain that, if Mother Nature isn't wide away.
I think Mother Nature is a wise old woman, you're right, and has her own ways of getting her own back.
So, maybe.
But I don't think we really need to worry about the threat to our rural community yet.
No, we wouldn't. We want them to be, reduced, because they're a legacy, aren't they?
No. There's nothing wrong with our rural community. I think we can live alongside lions. And you know what, as well? If somebody gets killed by a shark, or I know haven't got sharks here yet. Oh no, we have actually.
Yes, we have.
If somebody gets killed by a shark, it's a massive, big crisis, isn't it? How dare a shark kill a human? But that's what they do, isn't it?
No.
Lions kill people. Yeah, they do. That's right. There's one in, I don't know, something like 1 in 1,000. There's a really minute amount of deaths caused by sharks and animals. Yeah. But if it is, it's a massive fuss like the animal did something wrong. But really, they're just doing their thing, aren't they?
Fascinating little PS to the conversation. Thank you, Premi, for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Killer wasps. Confirmed. The beasts of Bodmin and elsewhere. Confirmed. Killer ragwort on the increase. Confirmed. Spores from bracken may be carcinogenic. Nearly confirmed. Is Mother Nature trying to eliminate the British rural community? What do you say? No? Free call 0500 1053 89. Or OR. Free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio.
Tommy Boyd Show. 1053, 1089 AM. Talk Radio.
Killer wasps, giant beasts, ragwort, bracken. Is Mother Nature trying to eliminate yokels? Duncan calls from Rutland. You're on Talk Radio, Duncan.
Tommy, how are you?
Duncan, thank you.
Oh, I spoke to you last year on the Wonderful Hour.
Who could forget?
Yes, you don't know what it was. I was the bloke in the tractor in the field.
Duncan, nice to talk to you again.
Yes. You're on about killer animals. We've only got the odd rabbit round here.
Yes. The odd rabbit? No, you haven't got the odd rabbit. You've got a plague of rabbits, man.
Well, yeah, but...
Well, why didn't you say so then? Why didn't you say so then?
Well, one rabbit, 1,000 rabbits, it's all the same in somebody else's field.
You see, you Rutland people, you count like the Polynesians, 1, 2 lots.
Well, it's near enough. I mean, I'm in the field at the minute. How many bales are in the field? I say to my old boss. Well, there's 1 or 2, and there's about 300.
She's coming to get you, Duncan.
Not to worry.
Mother Nature is coming to get you, pal.
No, well, worse things happen at sea.
Yeah, but not as bad as the things that happen in fields.
Well, there's not a lot happening in this field, I can assure you.
No.
I mean, there's a tractor driving up and down next door, and that's about it.
Have you got much ragwort popping out where you are?
One field near the A1, we've got no end of it.
No end of it?
Yes, and we have to walk up and down every year to pull the stuff out.
Why don't you go and live in the town, Duncan? You'd be a lot safer.
It's full of people.
Yeah, but they're alive.
Yeah, but does it mean they're safe?
Well, there must be, otherwise there wouldn't be lots of them.
Well, yeah, but you go out in the countryside, and, I mean, I've not had no trouble today at all. You go into the town, you might get mugged, raped, or whatever.
Well, it doesn't happen. The storm clouds are gathering, Duncan, and they're gathering over the fields of Britain, not over the factories.
Not over this field, they're not.
Well, you sit there long enough. Thank you for your call. Judith is on the line from Wiltshire. Judith, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Tommy, I'm really glad to speak to you. You've got this slightly wrong. It's not Mother Nature, my dear. It's us Mother Yokel, us such as me, who keeps the townies out by talking about all these nasty things that happen down in Wiltshire.
I'm afraid it's proven, Judith. It's a scientific fact. We have killer wasps.
We've always had all these terribly dangerous things, and we've made the most of them.
You haven't had killer wasps before. You haven't had giant wasps before.
We've had some we've had hornets.
They're not as big as killer wasps.
Well, that'll be more grist to our mill, won't it? Keep you townies out.
What does that mean, grist to your mill?
Grist to our mill is the way we've always kept nasty town people out from our country lanes.
No, what does grist to your mill mean, for goodness sake?
Well, if you knew anything about the country, Tommy, you'd know what grist was.
I'm asking you if you know.
Well, of course I know. I've been milling for years.
Well, why don't you tell us then, instead of beating about the bush? Honestly, you yokels are all the same.
Well, grist is what you put in the mill, you see, and if you didn't have any grist, you wouldn't need to run a mill, so no one would make any money.
And what about that bit about it's all something to the gander?
Well, that's absolutely true, of course, yes.
You see, I'm not surprised Mother Nature's after you, you lot.
No, we are Mother Nature, dear boy. Don't get it wrong.
You're so slow on the uptake, half of you, aren't you, really?
No, it's not that. We are Mother Nature. Don't you see? You've missed out part of the equation.
I hope the beasts of Bodmin come and get you, dear.
Well, thank you very much.
Drag you off. You wouldn't make much of a meal for them, I don't suppose. Ken calls from Halifax. Ken, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy. I'm a yokel, and I hope for your sake you don't run out of yokels, because after they've killed all us off, it's coming for you, off Cumdens.
What is?
Mother Nature.
Well, not necessarily.
Why?
Well, Mother Nature only likes to eliminate the weakest.
Well, have you noticed, you know this BSE and all that, it was probably created by yokels.
Yes.
But we keep best beef for ourselves and sell that to townies, off Cumdens.
But which profession has suffered the most fatalities through BSE?
Now then, it's debatable. Possibly farming, yeah.
Oh, possibly farming, is it now? Possibly
farming, yeah.
Can we just check the word possibly out then?
Yeah.
It's farmers followed by butchers, isn't it?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Right, ragwort. It doesn't kill all animals. Sheep can eat it. And sheep do eat it.
You're feeding ragwort to sheep?
No, but if you turn sheep into a field of ragwort, they'll eat it when it's just sort of growing,
Yeah, but you yokels wouldn't dream of doing that, would you? Not after all that fuss we had with the food chain and Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. You wouldn't feed sheep dubious substances, would you, Ken?
Yeah, did. Yes, we did. We turned some sheep into our 2 fields.
I can't believe you're on the radio telling us this.
We did.
You're not only unscrupulous, you are thick as 2 short planks.
No, but they can convert it, Tommy.
But how do you know that?
Because they're still alive.
Yeah, but not forever. They end up in people's stomachs.
I know, and I'm going to have some for my tea.
And look what it's done to you.
Probably, yeah, because I've got a bad ticker.
And you're not exactly quick on the uptake.
Can you hear all this damn noise outside? This is caused by off-Cumdens coming into our village and digging road up again.
Yeah, good.
They want to stop in town.
You want tarmac, Ken. That never kills you.
No.
You can't get ill from eating tarmac.
That's true.
Isn't it?
That's true.
There.
Okay, Tommy, nice to talk to you.
Oh, you'll regret it. So there it is. There you have it. There you heard it from a self-confessed yokel. In spite of what they know about scrapie or whatever it is in sheep being fed to cows and the consequence being allegedly bovine spongiform encephalitis and Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans, they're now turning sheep out into fields of ragwort, knowing that whilst it is a poison and it poisons other animals quickly, it appears not to poison sheep to death. Frightened. You should be. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Is Mother Nature coming for the yokels? Bikram calls from Middlesex. You're on Talk Radio, Bikram.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. Yourself?
I'm all right. I was just a bit surprised about your comment on moving Asians to the rural community so we can farm and teach you how to farm.
Good idea, isn't it?
I don't think so. I don't know what we're going to do out there. I can't farm. What am I going to do in the farm?
Well, the people who are out there don't seem to be able to farm either, so at least you're starting on a level playing field.
Well, but that's not a very good suggestion because I won't be doing them much benefit, would I?
No, but it does seem to me that certain communities within Britain have certain skills.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm not a racist. But
I don't think you are.
Thank you.
I think your comment was hilarious, and I thought I'd just ask you more about it.
Look, tall people make better basketball players. That's not heightist, is it?
No, I think you're right there as well.
Most people would accept that the Asian community have a number of qualities, high aspirations, they're comfortable with the work ethic, often. Usually.
Yeah, that's good, but I don't think they'll be very good farmers, do you?
Yeah, but the farming community of Great Britain, for one thing, they're totally immoral.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can knock the farmers in Great Britain. They're doing a good job. They have to keep up with all these European laws. Obviously they've taken a bit of a knocking recently, haven't they?
Oh, no, the European laws are all stacked in their favour. All the subsidies and all the help that they get for doing what they do, no matter who suffers at the end of it, and it's not rural people. You go to a pub in a rural community and it's afters till 1:30 in the morning, and then they all chuck their car keys on the table and go home with somebody else's wife.
Oh,
no, I mean, the Asian community would never do that.
Oh, we wouldn't do that at all, would we?
Well, there you are.
No, well, I've got another suggestion.
And you don't mind getting up early in the morning?
I don't mind getting up early in the morning, no.
No?
No, I get up at 5:30 every morning.
Now, well, there you are. You'd be ahead of the farmers.
Well, I've got another suggestion for you. There's a really nice area in the north of India called the Punjab. It's very green, and they've got lovely farmers. So why don't you do exchange visits with those farmers there and teach the UK farmers how to farm? That's a good idea, isn't it?
It is a very good idea. I like it. Farmer exchanges.
Hello?
It's a very good idea.
You've been cut off.
All right, no, you hadn't. We heard every word of it. Thank you. Go to your radio. It's a very good idea. Farmer exchanges between the Punjab and Gloucestershire. Tony calls from Brixton. You're on Talk Radio, Tony.
Hello, Tommy. Yeah, it's about this beast of Bodmin Moor. Well, not really much to worry about because they'll only really go for livestock. They'll rarely attack people. They've been here for generations. They're probably indigenous, not just the pumas, also maybe a few lynxes. Lions, I'm not too sure, however. I was saying to the person on the phone earlier, I was saying maybe that's why we've got 3 lions on the shirt, because they were indigenous as well to England.
And rhinoceroses?
Come on.
Tony, don't laugh at me. I'm a historian.
Yeah?
Rhinoceroses, yes, were common in Britain.
Well, sorry, I apologise then. No, I
should think so. Only 5,000 years ago.
Was it 5,000?
That's
well,
all.
Probably what it is then Mother Nature is probably trying to take care of her own because with all the people coming into the country, they're going to expand and look for food elsewhere because they tend to be a little bit freaked out by people.
I accept, of
Humans.
course. Whatever the beast of Bodmin
They may take the young as well, like the dingo sort of a thing. But
allegedly.
Allegedly,
okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I apologise.
What I'm doing here, Tony, is I'm taking the long view and looking at the trends that are going on in rural Britain. And we have the arrival in significant quantities of the killer wasp.
Yeah. Well, we had that in Italy as well. It wasn't a killer wasp, but it was something called a vespona, which is a very, very large black wasp.
Proliferation of the beasts of Bodmin Moor and other dangerous animals.
Yeah.
In the
Another thing, there is a way to, if they want to get rid of the beasts of Bodmin Moor, I wouldn't personally want it, but why not send in the tally-ho mob on their horses and their dogs?
Yeah. Then there's the ragwort and the bracken. All I'm saying is it looks as though nature is baring its sharp teeth in rural Britain.
Well, I mean, it has to, though. Because you see, it's probably doing it all over the world, but it has to. Otherwise, you see, there'll be too many humans in the world, not enough animals. So
this is the question I'm asking.
Yeah, well, it is. It's Mother Nature is now taking the initiative to say, right, too many humans moving in. Let's have a few beasts around there. Let's have other indigenous animals than that.
She has spun her web.
She certainly has, and good luck to her.
She has spun her web, and she has spun it across the road out of the countryside. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Michael is on the line from Manchester. You are on Talk Radio. Michael, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Sir.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory, this. What's happened is the townies have let loose these beasts of Bodmin Moor out to, have a go at these poor yokels.
It's not a very good one, is it, really?
Well, I think it is, because think of it this way, right? You've got all these circus owners, right? These circuses now are having a lot of bad time, they've got to get rid of them. So what do? They set loose all these beasts out onto the yokels. The yokels have to move out, and then the circus owners buy up the land.
It's not a very good one, really. A much better conspiracy theory is that Mother Nature has an identity and has a force majeure, which in this case, imprimatur perhaps, but a force majeure behind her behaviour, which is to eliminate a certain section of society, as she has done in the past, successfully with plague and with pestilence, and perhaps even with the fourth rider of the apocalypse, war. But we have conquered plague, pestilence, and war. So humanity is burgeoning. Devil take the hindmost in nature. That's how humanity moves to higher ground. Who are our hindmost in Britain today, if not the rural community? We got subsidy for that, and we'll see you in the pub tonight. How's your wife? See what I'm saying? Einon calls from Worcester. Einon, you are on Talk Radio. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Einon.
It appears to me what I would like to do is invite you to my farm in the countryside so that you can get some idea what you're talking about. Would you like to come?
No.
Why not?
I value my life.
You value your life?
Yes.
Dear man, you'll be
health.
far safer in the countryside than ever you'll be in the town.
I value my health.
Your health.
And my integrity.
You'll be far healthier in the countryside than you will be in the towns.
Well, there aren't any poisonous animals in the town, or...
Aren't there?
No.
Foxes, rats.
They're not poisonous.
Badgers.
They're not poisonous.
They are. Badgers spread TB. Foxes carry disease around.
We haven't got badgers in the town.
And you bring your old foxes out and loose them out in the countryside for the poor buggers to die?
You've got all the badgers.
No, we haven't.
Yes, you
Plenty
have.
of badgers in the towns, and they're full of TB. You know that, do you?
You've got all the badgers. We haven't got any badgers in the town. When did you last see a badger in the town?
You have got some legislation to protect the badger.
Yeah.
But what you're doing, you're going to kill all the badgers because you're all going to die from TB. Do you understand that?
No, I don't understand.
Well, now you do.
Any of it. No, I don't understand it because you're talking Tommy rot.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
The minister. I took an MP round the countryside in Herefordshire.
Which one?
Michael Pace, MP.
Yes.
to look at the badgers situation in Herefordshire. And out of 32 badgers that the ministry culled, 29 had TB.
Right.
So to tell me as TB is not in badgers is rubbish.
No, it is in badgers, and it's out to get rural folk. That's another thing to add to my list. Thank you.
Right.
Yes. Mother Nature is trying to eliminate yokels.
No, they're not. What will eliminate the yokels is all the fumes that these country people who come out to the country to live, with all their damn vehicles parading up and down the roads to go back into the towns to work. If their work is in the towns, why don't they live there? They're polluting the countryside.
Do you believe
and
this?
The houses, they come out and buy our small little country cottages.
It's because you believe all this rubbish, Einon.
Yes.
It's because you believe. It's because you would quite like never to have to deal with anybody except yokels. That you're
no, we're not yokels. We're country folk.
No,
get it right.
You're bumpkins.
No, we're not bumpkins either.
You are closed off to the 20th century and closed off to the dangers that Mother Nature is laying at your door because she's out to get you.
Is she really?
Yes, it's a matter of justice.
Well, if you send her along to Northingtown farm where I live, I'll have a word with her, will you?
How many drums of organophosphate have you got seeping in your barn?
Not one.
Well, you're unusual, aren't you?
We are very unusual.
At least you admit that.
Tell me something. If you eat bananas, do you know they're sprayed with organophosphorus? Shut up. Do you understand that?
Who are you muttering shut up to? Have you got a sheep in there?
No.
Einon?
Yes?
We townies, I know it's bizarre, but we peel our bananas first.
You do?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Pleased to know that.
You want to try it?
Try what?
Peeling them.
Yes.
Yes. Take the skin off.
Yes.
Then you don't eat the spray.
I don't know about that.
I bet you don't.
I don't.
No.
No.
You eat them whole.
No, I don't very rare eat bananas.
That's half the problem, isn't it, really? You're not getting enough fruit.
We eat apples, pears, different things like that.
Yes. Well, Einon, I think we've got the picture.
Yeah.
I'll get back to the sheep.
Righto then.
Lovely to talk to you.
Bye.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Humpty-Dumpty-Dum-dum. Is Mother Nature trying to eliminate the yokels? And if not, why not? Adrian calls from Somerset. You are on Talk Radio.
Well, Ralph, I'm on radio. Hello?
Adrian, hello.
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 Is that Tommy Boyd, ex of Magpie?
It could be. It depends.
Well, you tell me.
Am I?
I used to watch you when it was the old Magpie jobby, yeah?
Is this call going to get any more interesting than this?
No, probably not, because you're a very insulting person, aren't you, really, at the end of the day? But I'm not going to swear, because at the end of the day, you cut me off because you've got a 7-second delay.
Right, well,
yeah?
That's one load of dribble, followed by two cliches. Now, you've got about 30 seconds to make a point if you've got one, which I doubt, since you're a yokel.
You want to behave yourself, you do. I'll tell you what, I lived in London for 5 years. I lived in Somerset for 30 years, all right? And you are the most arrogant person I've ever heard on my life. All right? I've been listening to your radio station for... You cut me off now, have you?
Get on with it, woman.
You still there, are you?
Get on with it. Have you been drinking organophosphate again?
Oh, you want to behave yourself.
Hey?
You want to behave yourself. I got my car radio on. I'm stood in lay-by here. Yeah. All right? And I've never heard such a load of drivel in the whole of my life. I might have had a couple of drinks at lunchtime, but at the end of the day, what are we talking about? Have you ever eaten badger pie?
6X, wasn't it?
Have you ever eaten badger pie?
Was it 6X?
No, it wasn't 6X.
Very nice, though,
we
isn't
drink real beer down here, not Wadsworth, all right?
Nice tipple at lunchtime, though, isn't it, eh?
What, 6X?
Yeah. Anything,
What a
really.
load of rubbish. I'll tell you what, you could hear me car radio now.
Look, I've got to go, Adrian. I'm doing a special item on new recipes for ragwort after the...
Ragwort?
Yeah,
you don't even know what ragwort is.
I
you
do.
wouldn't know if ragwort came up and bit you in the bum.
I do, and I've got a terrific recipe
What
for...
colour is it?
Ragwort
What colour
salad.
is ragwort?
It's a sort of reddy yellowy colour.
Rubbish. It's yellow. Full stop. There's no red in it at all.
There is. In the leaf.
No, there isn't. There is no yellow. There is no red in ragwort.
It
There's
depends
plenty
on-
of yellow, there is no red.
If you marinate it the way I'm going to suggest, Sir Adrian.
You want to behave.
Drunk. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We ask an interesting question next. The government are talking about giving priority to cars containing passengers. But isn't that upside down? Aren't empty cars best?
DHL Worldwide Express.
This section of the programme focuses on one of the only two things that affect absolutely everybody. The other being children. The first being transport, getting from A to B, the roads of Britain. Now, the government are talking about giving priority for cars with passengers, priority lanes leading into towns and cities in the morning. But this is surely upside down. Because one thing that's even more important than getting to work on time, even more important than the air being pure, is that we reduce the number of casualties as a result of road accidents in Britain. And purely from the point of view of road safety, free call 0500 10 53 89. You can't get away from the commonsensical fact of the matter, which is that empty cars are best. Empty cars are safest. This most obvious point simply has gone zoom past John Prescott, hasn't it? You know it, I know it. But it never gets said. It really is stating the obvious. But the obvious counts, doesn't it? A+. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Think about it. You're driving along with a car full of people. They're going to talk. They're going to ask you things. They're going to pass you things. The last time I went on any drive of any distance when I was driving with my family, they were playing a game. And I heard them saying, a city beginning with A. Dad, you go first. Well, the next thing I know, because somebody had already done Amsterdam, yeah. The next thing I know, I'm on a roundabout. So I had to drop out of the game and tell them not to talk to me, not to involve me in any of the quiz games because I was driving. Now, 89% of the cars in Britain are driven by single people in the car by themselves. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the percentage of people who are involved in accidents in which there are passengers in the car is going to be higher than the remaining 11%. Because I honestly believe that just as using mobile phones whilst you're driving along, just as smoking a cigarette clumsily whilst you're driving along, talking to the passenger who's sitting next to you, or being distracted by the people in the back is bound to be a danger when you're driving on the roads of Britain. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's simple. Passengers are dangerous. Passengers distract the driver. Free call 0500 10 53 89. From the point of view of road safety, empty cars are best. But not only that, if we do have priority lanes for cars with passengers, it seems to me that it's going to be unfair on, for example, two-seater sports cars, which if there's only one person in a two-seater car is at least 50% full. Whereas you will get also, won't you, a minibus with just the driver in it, which is about 2% full, 98% empty, and yet it will suffer the same penalty as the driver of the two-seater sports car. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Let sleeping dogs lie. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Empty cars are the best. Priority lanes for cars with passengers will be open to abuse. You might find, for example, that a boss who was torn between giving a job to candidate A and candidate B might give the job to candidate A because candidate A lives at the end of his road, in which case he'd be able to get to work in a priority lane by giving the guy a lift. Free call 0500 10 53 89. And if you did have priority lanes, you know what would happen. There wouldn't be anybody at the bus queue because people would start hitchhiking queues at the start of the priority lanes. No. Let sleeping dogs lie. Signed, empty cars are best. You don't want somebody sat next to you boring the pants off you on your way to work just because the government says so. Phil calls from Leeds. You're on Talk Radio. Phil, good afternoon.
Hiya, Tommy, you're dead right. I drive around people all day as a taxi driver and they're nothing but bother. And they interfere with you. And we've got the two in a car lane system in Leeds. And it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
People do feel a need to communicate with the driver just to sort of be polite, don't they? But it gets in the way.
Oh, we get the same questions all day.
Yeah.
Are you having a nice day? How's the weather? You know what I mean?
Are you busy at the moment?
No, it's very quiet at the moment.
No, I'm sorry. That's the question they ask you.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah. That's all we get, yeah. All day, you know what I mean? It's terrible. But the two-lane system in a town just doesn't work anyway, you know what I mean? Two in a car plus, there's a congestion.
Who stands there and counts and makes sure that there's two in the car plus?
Oh, there's police officers on duty.
Yeah.
And they pull them into a special lane and give them a telling off or a ticket.
Yeah.
So everybody avoids it. So all the other roads into Leeds are packed.
Yeah.
And this road's, quite empty.
Yeah.
Which is, it's okay. It's a success, but there's big bus crash there, there's been everything. Because at the bottom of the road, it goes back into wood. So, the congestion's just moved onto other roads are just twice as bad there. But passengers are just the worst, man.
I'd very much like to see statistics on how many accidents might have been caused by the fact that the passengers in the front, or especially in the back,
Yeah, totally. Do you know
are distracting
where
the driver.
Do you know where the thing is, though? Where the thing was done in America, where there's 16 lanes, and that's where they can have a priority lane, you know.
Yeah.
And in this country, it just doesn't work. And the passengers are just absolutely... You know, if our job would be brilliant if we didn't have taxis, if we didn't have passengers in.
Phil, thank you for your call. And the worst of having to take a passenger to and from work is that you've got to work out how much they're going to pay you. How do you do that? I mean, how on earth do you work out that calculation? Free call 0500 1053 89. Here's Robert calling from Warrington. You're on Talk Radio, Robert. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, Tommy.
Robert?
All right.
What do you say?
I think basically having passengers, more people in the car, is, at the end of the day, going to be safer.
Yeah.
Because there's if instead of having one person in the car, you'd had 4, that's 25% less cars on the road.
Robert, this is poor stuff, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, why?
Well, how many serious accidents are there when cars are bumper to bumper in a gridlock?
Not many.
No. So, what do we know? Congestion reduces the number of serious accidents on the road.
Uh-huh. Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
And surely human lives are more important than traffic flowing freely.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as making roads more safe is concerned, surely, has been suggested so far, bringing a retesting, for example, would make us better drivers?
Well, what we're doing in this section of the programme, Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express, is moving our way carefully and thoroughly through all the issues that attend the whole business of transport. Yeah, and we'll get around to testing, for sure. But if you saw the government white paper which came out the other Sunday, they said that it might be a good idea to encourage more people to share their journey into work.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Therefore, if 4 people would go in one car instead of 4 cars being on the road, then surely there's going to be less congestion, less chance of having an accident. And if you can't drive a car without being distracted, then you shouldn't be driving it in the first place.
But people
Why do we have a radio in a car?
Well, people do. Because you
Why do we have a radio in a car?
Because that's one-way conversation. You don't have to get involved. If you're stupid enough to get involved...
It's a distraction, is it not?
No, not like a conversation is.
Of course it is. If you're listening to the radio, that's a distraction. You're not concentrating all the time on what's happening on the road.
Look, if I was sat next to you whilst you're driving along...
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do people learn to drive if you can't have someone sat at the side of them talking to them, telling them what to do? Is that a distraction? You're not allowed to do that? So all these learner drivers have to go on the road.
Yeah, no, obviously people have got to teach people how to drive.
Well, that's talking to someone.
Yeah.
In case you haven't gathered, I do that for a living.
Oh, right. Oh, in that case, then we'll get round to knocking driving instructors on the head another time.
Yeah, so answer that. And then, if I'm teaching someone to drive, how can I do it without speaking to them?
Well, for one thing, you lot should pay to buy a slab of tarmac so that you can teach people to do emergency stops somewhere other than outside my house.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue where you live, so you can't have a go at me about that one.
Yeah, but you do, don't you? You do emergency stops, 3-point turns, reversing round, flipping corners, right outside people's houses.
Well, where do you expect us to do it, then?
You buy a patch of land. You're a profit-making organisation, Just. You buy a patch of land and do it on your own territory, or do it outside your own house, not ours.
I actually work for myself, so I'm not a profit-making organisation.
Oh, you work at a loss, do you?
Sorry?
You work at a loss, do you?
No.
You use ordinary people's crescents and avenues for your place of work, and you annoy us in the middle of the evening when we're trying to watch EastEnders.
Well, what's EastEnders got to do with being outside on a road? Do you watch television on a road?
I wouldn't let you train my goldfish to rise to the surface for its food, pal, if this is the standard of conversation that you have with people you're training to drive a killing machine.
Like that guy I was listening to you talking about yokels before. You really do upset people the way you speak. I mean, we can have a conversation about things and you don't have to get nasty about it and insult people.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. Answer my point. How do I teach someone to drive if I can't speak to them?
Well, I'm surprised that you managed to get anybody through the test, the level of your conversation.
Why?
Your ability to have a conversation.
My ability to have a conversation?
Yes.
You're not answering my point.
Yes, I have.
Why?
I precisely answered your point. What?
All you've said is that I shouldn't be teaching, or driving instructors shouldn't be teaching in front of your house.
No,
on road.
That's correct.
How do you learn to drive, then?
Tomorrow we're going to devote an entire programme to Satan's soldiers, driving instructors, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So get off now, and let's stick to the point, shall we? We are discussing the virtues of driving by yourself, which it seems to me is absolutely self-evident. Road safety is even more important than issues such as traffic flow, issues such as air pollution. And if you fill your car with people who are bound to want to talk to you, you do raise the chance that you're liable to run into the guy in front. Simple as that. Simple as that. Philip calls from London. Philip, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello, I think you're absolutely right. I have a young family. Yeah. The amount of interruptions you get are amazing, only to be understood. But public service vehicles usually have a nice glass screen, like a taxi or a bus, big sign, do not distract or talk to the driver. Yep. How about cars made, the family car with a nice screen, perhaps with a microphone for the back if you desperately need to hear what the kids want to say. Yep. If things get a bit out of hand, maybe mild nerve gas just to put them to sleep for the while. But the driver should not be disturbed.
Would you go on a plane to fly across the Atlantic if you knew that the bloke who was flying the plane had a mate from work sitting next to him who wanted to talk to him about last night's football on the telly?
No, it did happen once, though. Not a mate. A child was allowed in a Russian airliner to muck about, and the plane actually crashed.
Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express. No, we got our fingers on the pulse with this one. It's just that it's so obvious, nobody ever thought of it before. Chris calls from Northants. You're on Talk Radio, Chris.
Hi, Tommy. I agree with you, and I like my car by myself. Yeah. But to solve the problem, you could get a blow-up doll. Yeah. You could talk to them if you wanted to, but they wouldn't talk back.
They do sell cardboard cutouts, don't they, that you can sit up in your car if you're leaving it parked in a car park?
I think that might be more discernible, a cardboard cutout, but a blow-up doll might look a bit more real. You could put a wig on it and get away with it with the police.
Chris, what you do with a blown-up doll in the privacy of your own car. Thank you for your call.
Okay, bye.
Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express. Do we need less empty cars on British roads? No, for safety's sake, we need more.
DHL Worldwide Express.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.